I feel the essence of trail running is just being in the present moment and to, feel the ground under my feet.
There's just this simplicity about it which makes it accessible to everybody, and just put on a pair of shoes and off you go.
It's all about a feeling of freedom, about feeling well and being strong and fit.
For me, the most important thing is to be able to find a combination between endurance, strength, power, and speed.
At the Adidas Infinite Trails World Championships, trail running is held as a team relay event for the first time. And that's us engaging with the trend that people want to experience these things in a community. That's how we managed to get more than 200 teams to start this year. And those 200 teams come from more than 40 different countries. The whole trail running scene comes together for 4 days, and it's like the Rock am Ring music festival for trail running. For me, it doesn't matter in which team I run, whether it's with the people from Russia or with guys from other countries, because it's all one big family.
You're all depending on each other, you're working together and encouraging each other, and it just brings this camaraderie and just this celebration of what we all love doing.
It's 3 loops, 25 kilometers with 2,000 meters elevation change, which is really steep and starts early in the dark. Then 60 kilometers with almost 4,000 meters elevation change, and then 40 kilometers with 2,000, so 3 different distances. It'll be very interesting to see how these different styles of trail running will come alive in one race.
Situated in Austria's picturesque Salzbugerland, the Gastein Valley is the ideal host location for the Adidas Infinite Trails. Freight hauler and trading routes were created hundreds of years ago, and a network of more than 600 kilometers of trails spans between the region's main peaks.
On these old paths, where the Celts and the Romans found gold back in the day, where they brought the gold southwards over these passes, that's where the trail runners here in Gastein compete. Here we have mountains with boulders that are technical. We have exposed ridges, but also the highest meadow summits of the Alps. And the Hohentauern National Park is the ideal playground for a sustainable event.
It's really my favorite place because we have a lot of trails and we can go to the flat or go to the uphill and these technical trails.
Here it's amazing because you have the woods, the mountains, snow, you have really high peaks, you have lakes, and well, the cities, the towns are amazing over here also.
The idea of the Adidas Infinite Trails World Championships captures the imagination of athletes from around the world, and some of the planet's best trail runners are in the Gastein Valley to take part in this groundbreaking event, which starts with a prologue.
The prologue, it just really brings out everyone. It doesn't matter if you're first or last, it's about just the whole experience and enjoying that together.
Most athletes don't care at all from which country someone comes. And the more mixed teams there are, the more fun it is.
You share the same passion, you share the same love for the mountains, for life, for sustainability.
Trail running is special because of the environment, the team spirit, the feeling we see in the races and in training.
The prologue is 15.5 kilometers long with an elevation change of nearly 900 meters and leads the athletes from the Alpine Arena up to the Gabrielhütte and back to Bad Hofgastein. The athletes gather in the Alpine Arena in Bad Hofgastein to get ready for the race. Among the biggest stars in the sport, there are also amateurs and athletes from other disciplines like ski mountaineer Anton Palzer.
The prologue is a good form test, and it helps to work out which teams are expected to do well.
Technical plan today is to just make it in one piece, so I'm feeling good and ready to go for the next one.
For me, just full gas today. I think the same my teammates, but now full gas.
The start gun goes and more than 800 athletes leave the Alpen Arena to tackle the 15.5-kilometer route. The prologue is an open race for individual trail runners, but also a must for the relay teams, which will battle for the start positions of the main race. Anton Palzer from Germany takes control of the prologue early on and leaves the rest of the field trailing, as he clearly cherishes his first Adidas Infinite Trails experience. In second place, Daniel Osans from Spain tries everything to keep the deficit to Palzer to a minimum. In the women's race, Sheila Aviles from Spain quickly establishes a lead, and the 26-year-old proves why she is one of the brightest stars in the sport. Buoyed by the crowd support at the aid station, Palzer is now in cruise control and brings home the prologue victory in a time of 1 hour, 9 minutes, 26 seconds.
I definitely wasn't the favorite today. I'm a winter sports athlete. But when it comes to steep inclines, there aren't many who can compete with me.
And the women's prologue is won by Sheila Aviles from Spain.
I am very happy. I felt great during the whole way up. I felt great and full of energy, and I hope that I feel the same way on Saturday morning. Lately, I've been feeling in great shape.
The day after the prologue, the world's best trail runners meet at the home of Adidas Terex to talk to the press about their sport and this groundbreaking team relay event. But they are also in Bad Hofgastein to meet their fans and amateur trail runners who will take part in the Adidas Infinite Trails World Championships.
Indy. You never know, I don't want to mess it up.
Some of the other athletes take advantage of the athlete-driven services and cool down in the natural baths of the Alpentherme.
We're going for the complete recovery program. It's in the Alpentherme in the morning. Then the athlete brunch, to take in a lot of liquid and carbohydrates. And later we'll get a massage. And then it's an early night to be fighting fit tomorrow morning.
But before the athletes can go to bed, they have to pick up their start numbers and attend a race briefing to get the latest race updates. It's race day, and the first trail runners meet in the Alpen Arena at 4 o'clock in the morning. It's a chasing start, and Ingvild Kaspersen and Dimitri Mitraev, the first runners of the teams with the best combined results from the prologue, will lead the pack out onto Loop 1. Loop 1, with a length of 25.4 kilometers and an elevation change of 1,900 meters, takes the athletes onto a technically challenging course with trail and gravel path surfaces. Cheered on by the excited spectators, Dimitri Mitraev is the first runner to get out onto Loop 1. He is followed shortly after by Martin Demetes, and then runner after runner leaves the Alpen Arena to start the trail running team adventure that is the Adidas Infinite Trails. It's still dark, and the runners have to navigate the first few kilometers on the waterfall path up to the Annen Café with headlamps. Soon after, they get immersed into the wonderful world of trail running. At the front, Anton Palzer has found his rhythm, and the 26-year-old powers up the flowing trails that spiral further and further upwards towards the ridge between the Gastein and Gastein valleys. Moving at pace along the ridge, Palzer is still in the lead, but he knows that he is being chased by Dimitri Mitraev from Russia. On the downhill sections, Mityayev shows his supreme skills, but Palzer is still in the lead on the tough climb up to the Gamskar-Kogel. This is steep and technically challenging terrain. In the women's race, Spain's Sheila Aviles is in complete control and dominates Loop 1, which suits technically sound runners like herself. Back to the men, where Palzer is still ahead of Mityayev. In third place is now Martin Antamatten from Switzerland. Pelting down the wonderfully runnable trails from the Gamskar-Kogel, Aviles is in her element and constantly increases the lead ahead of second place Ingvild Kaspersen. In the lead in the mixed category, Deborah Chiarello from Switzerland. As hundreds of amateurs still battle it out on the high alpine terrain, Bad Hof Gastein and the finish line is in touching distance of Dmitry Mityayev. The Russian caught Palzer on the downhill, and he is the first athlete to finish Loop 1 and send his teammate Luis Alberto Hernando onto the second loop.
I knew that the result doesn't just count for me, but the team, and that's really important and what motivated me.
Sheila Aviles, the first woman to finish Loop 1 with a lead of almost 25 minutes, and American Abby Hall continues with Loop 2. The sport of trail running has become a global movement, and it's rapidly gaining in popularity all over the world.
People are getting bored of the street because you never have the same trail, because all the places are different, no? So you enjoy it anywhere in the world and you have different experience.
To help runners in major cities across the world to transition to the trails, the Adidas Runners Project was started.
With the Adidas Runners, we have communities everywhere in the world. We're talking about more than 70 different communities, and especially in the US. In Los Angeles and New York City, we found 2 communities that were really fired up about the concept.
Members of the New York and LA Adidas Runners Project joined trail running legends like Timothy Olson for a training camp in Boulder, Colorado.
For them, it was some of the first times of being in some bigger mountains and really testing their bodies and minds and getting prepared for Infinite Trail.
Trails all around the world are just exciting for us, so can't wait to explore what Infinite Trails has.
Asia is another continent where trail running is booming, and one of China's biggest trail running stars, Luo Tao, explains why the sport is so popular in his home country.
Nowadays in China, everyone lives a fast-paced life, and more people realized how important it is to keep healthy. And trail running is not only a good way to help people keeping fit, but also brings people into the nature to release the pressure from the cities.
With more and more events popping up in China and Hong Kong, the sport hasn't reached its peak yet and is set to grow even bigger.
I believe in the next 5 years that there will be more and more Chinese trail runners, not only competing on national level, but also in Asia and around the world.
Loop 2 with 59.8 kilometers and an elevation change of 3,600 meters is the longest and hardest loop, and a ridge run on the Graukogel is the highlight. Out on the course, the 2-time trail running world champion Luis Alberto Hernando sets the pace at the front. The 41-year-old is followed by Chinese runner Luo Tao, who has moved into second place. Manuel Bayo now in third. Abby Hall leads the women's race as she passes the aid station on the way up to the Graukogel, where technical terrain and steep elevation awaits. And on this climb, even race leader Luis Alberto Hernando can't run anymore, as second place Luo Tao and mixed race leader Adrian Niski also have to dig deep to get through the exposed and rocky terrain. Hernando extends his lead on the way up to the Zittauer Tisch and is now being followed by Tau and Benjamin Bublak. Abby Hall is still at the front of the women's race, but Russia's Ekaterina Mityaeva is slowly reducing the deficit. Approaching the Zittauer Tisch summit, Luis Alberto powers ahead, and behind him a thrilling battle for second and third place unfolds between Luo Tau and Benjamin Bublak. In the mixed category, Adrian Niski is in the lead, and the German is having a strong race. Running along the Zittauer Tisch ridge, Abby Hall continues to be at the front, with Ekaterina Mityaeva edging closer in the sweltering heat. And dozens of amateurs also take on the challenge of the rugged and technically demanding terrain that this typical European loop throws at them. Meanwhile, in Bad Hofgastein, Timothy Olsen nervously awaits his teammate Luis Alberto Hernando, who arrives in a time of just under 6.5 hours and sends Olsen on the third and final loop.
I am very happy that I have been able to deliver and meet my team's expectations. They have been a great support.
After a thrilling battle with Bublak, China's Luo Tau finishes Loop 2 in second place, more than 20 minutes behind Hernando. Despite losing time to Mityaeva, Abby Hall finishes the Loop 2 in first place and passes a 20-minute lead onto Kim Schreiber.
Super happy. It was really fun just kind of carrying the momentum Sheila brought in with her strong finish, and I just tried to channel that as much as I could.
One of the hallmarks of the Adidas Infinite Trails is the gender equality, the fact that men and women run the same distances and earn the same prize money.
It's great to be able to show that women can do the same courses as men. Often women are starting to show that actually they are really strong on some of the much longer distances.
We are one of the sports where equality is key, because, for example, in football, there is a huge difference between men and women. Here, we're all evaluated the same by the brand, and in the team, we all have the same contract.
What's also shared by the male and female trail runners is a deep-rooted connection to nature and an urge to live as sustainably as possible.
Trail runners and people who do sports in the mountains are much more respectful to the environment and nature because we are always in it and appreciate what we have.
Fortunately, with a sport that we love, we can change the mentality of many people, making them understand that nature is part of our planet and needs to be taken care of to reduce climate change.
Loop 3 has a distance of 40 kilometers and 2,116 meters of elevation change, with a ridge run from the Jedelkopf to the Wetterkreuz the highlight. Timothy Olsen takes a sizable lead onto the third and final loop and is now being chased by Janos Kowalczyk in second place. South Korea's Byungwon Park is in third place. At the front, Olsen shows an accomplished trail running display, and he is clearly in his element on this smooth and flowy North American style loop as he keeps his chasers at bay. In the mixed category, Marcel Huche continues the lead for the Adidas Terex mixed team, but the women's race leader Kim Schreiber is struggling already in the early part of Loop 3. She's being chased by 45-year-old Jasmin Nuniga from Switzerland, who has the race of her life and flies down the grassy descents towards Dorfgastein. Timothy Olsen is the first athlete to arrive in Dorfgastein, and he looks certain to bring home the victory. Showing a strong run, Janusz Kowalczyk holds on to second place as he replenishes his fluids at the aid station. And Ruben Chacon of the Spanish Carrera de Montana team is now in third. In the mixed category, Marcel Höche is also in control of the race as he approaches the final stretch of Loop 3. But in the women's race, Kim Schreiber continues to struggle, and Jasmine Nuniga edges closer with every meter she runs. An exhausted Schreiber cools down at an aid station, but can she hold off Nuniga? She can't, and only a few kilometers before the finish line, Nuniga overtakes Schreiber and moves into the lead. It's been an incredible day of trail running, and as he runs down the finish chute, Timothy Olsen knows that he has secured the victory for him and his teammates Luis Alberto Hernando and Dimitri Mityayev. They have to complete the final 700-meter loop in Bad Hofgastein as a team before they triumphantly cross the finish line at the Alpen Arena as world champions.
I'm so happy. After last year being canceled, my team, we all came back here with fire, and we wanted to do the best we could, and no matter what. And my teammates are amazing, so strong. They gave me a good lead, and I was able to finish it off.
After finishing Loop 3 in the fastest time, Janusz Kowalczyk picks up his teammates Benjamin Bublak and Anton Palzer for the final 700-meter loop, and the strong German team takes second place. In third place, more than a half an hour behind the winners, the all-Spanish team with Raúl Sanchez, Manuel Bayo, and Ruben Chacon. The mixed category is won by Germany's Adrian Niska and Marcel Höche and Deborah Chiarello from Switzerland.
It's definitely hard to do a race like this with 3 people because it's not just your performance that counts. Here, you lose together, you win together, and today I'm so happy that we won together.
Despite chasing a lead of more than 20 minutes on the final loop, Jasmine Nuniga shows a heroic performance and enters the finish chute in first place, taking her teammates Ingvild Kaspersen and Ekaterina Mityayeva on the final loop before celebrating victory at the Adidas Infinite Trails World Championships.
I have given it my all in this race, and I had a good feeling that I will have a good day, and to win in a team with these outstanding athletes is just great.
I'm really happy to stay here with my teams. Oh my God, yes, Infinity Trails, thank you, it's amazing.
Almost 5 minutes later, Team Adidas Terex 1 also crosses the finish line with an exhausted Kim Schreiber. As the winners already celebrate, dozens of amateurs are still out on Loop 3, making their way down to Bad Hofgastein. Trail runners from around the world got a first real taste of the state-of-the-art team relay event that is the Adidas Infinite Trails. With the winners celebrating their victories at the evening's awards ceremony, and amateur team after amateur team arrive in the packed Alpen Arena, all the athletes have put down their mark in trail running history.
I think trail running brings life into you and gives you this energy, and I think people are really just excited to get outside and explore.